Sam,
Speak.
thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing me to join you.
Topsnap podcast.
1, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3.
4, 5.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my guest, Sam, the sit-down comedian.
Old man Sam,
Old-
sit down.
There you go. Sorry about that. Bad intro. Old man Sam, the sit-down comedian. I've been wanting to do a podcast with you for a couple years.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. It's been years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Days are long, years are short.
And at first, it was more of like before I knew you, just kind of like, oh, let's be great to get the perspective of a homeless person, but just before I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, it becomes much more than that after, because a lot of people have a hard problem with the word friends. So acquaintances or friendly acquaintances, that's what I think we become. Drink coffee, which
Which is very good, thank you.
cheers to the last of that. There you go. Cheers.
Thank you,
There
thank
go.
you.
And so I guess the conversation with me started with curiosity about trying to deal with being outdoors see the the common connotation is homeless. Okay. So, but I think from
Urban camping.
I think you're more like, you said yesterday you're claustrophobic and you have a hard time
Yes.
being indoors. Like, is this really bad or is it okay because there's a lot of windows?
You got the windows open, all this stuff?
Yeah.
This is fine.
It's aired out. There's lots of, okay. But like at night, enclosed, no air breathing, I get you. You feel,
Oh, yeah, when it's
Trying to
outside
sleep.
and there's no wind, zero wind, oh, that is torturous. Because it feels to me like I'm in something, inside a room or something.
and you also previewed me yesterday in a conversation that you, make it sure, sorry. Yeah, you're in the, sorry. That you had an RV across the street.
Yes.
And you had a problem with the fire department or something. And
Yeah, they
So-
didn't like me seeing them. I was a student at Golden West College, and I let the security guides on the campus.
you're what at the college?
I was a student at
Oh,
Golden
you're a
West
student,
College.
okay.
And,
Adult student, not youth student.
well, I'm definitely an old person.
Well, I just don't know how long ago you're talking about.
I stopped being a student when the virus showed up.
Okay.
Because they made it difficult. But
It made it difficult.
oh, yeah, they closed down the campus.
Oh, so you lost that thing after you lost the RV after that, or what?
After the shot, after the
Yeah.
close down of the campus because of the virus, and I tried my darnest to keep that thing going, and I was the mechanic, and I was not a very good mechanic,
Oh,
and destroyed the darn thing. Finally found the parts to put it back together, and then couldn't put it back together. The place that I had it was parked. They didn't like it being there. It was not pretty, and they had it towed away.
so you just kind of living on the street, urban camping, doing your thing is more of a choice because you said you had a couple cars in the storage units next door.
Not really a choice.
Well, I'm saying you have resources though, correct?
I would have a Datsun Roadster, and I was existing out of that thing. I don't call it living. I call it existing. And then someone said, "Here, have an RV." So I put the car in storage, stopped using that, and was in the RV. And then the RV decided to break down on me, and I worked on it, and it just got towed away. They didn't like it.
And you have another car in there next to the Datsun Roadster.
I have a backup car for parts.
For what kind of car is it?
Datsun Roadster.
No, so you have two Datsun Roadsters.
I have two Datsun Roadsters, one for parts, one's a parts car, and the other one was a driving one.
I got you.
And since it's a very old vehicle, it's very difficult to find the parts for the darn thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, cars are expensive no matter what.
But it's very difficult to find the parts for a 1964 Datsun
100%.
Roadster.
Even 1992 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Mm-hmm. Even the same thing. So obviously the longer, if you go back further. But I think there's a lot of like manufacturers out there that are like making parts and stuff for old cars that like they have schematics, they have the blueprints to make the stuff, and with modern technology, they're able to like remanufacture those things and manufacture up old parts with newer standards. That's what a lot of companies do. They're like, something that's obsolete. They don't make the car anymore, and they're like, okay, they made 1,000 of these cars. There's a collector market out there for it. Let's make 50 of these parts or something.
When Nissan got rid of the name Datsun, they threw all the parts away.
No.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where do you get your information?
I was at the dealership. That's where I got my parts from.
Okay, so the dealership, you're saying the dealerships threw away the parts?
Yes.
Because there's got to be some new old stock. That's what they call it, NOS, new old stock for parts that are brand new, never sold.
Yes.
That's old as bejesus.
But they're very difficult to find. I was going on the internet, eBay, and that's where I was getting all the parts. I just checked a little while ago on eBay for parts, just out of curiosity, and they're very slim.
With your cell phone. That's where you check, right? So you're mobile. You have, and I'm not glamorizing any of the shit that you go through. I'm trying to make it prevalent of like when the common passerby drives by, and they see you.
I'm despised.
You're despised because of why? Do you think every person? Do you think every person despises you that drives by?
Well, the two kids that came by yesterday. We had a conversation and such, and told jokes. In fact, well, I'm the one mainly telling.
You're telling nasty jokes about beef sticks.
Well, pretty much.
Clean. It was clean. There was no dirty language. It was just gestures.
Yeah.
Hey, you had them cracking up. To be honest. Had the beef. Yeah.
But people despise me just because. And I think my personal belief is that they don't like me because they see themselves in me. They could end up being that way.
You know what? That's a real thing.
It's projection.
What it is I was talking about this to a friend of mine, and she was talking about her ex, and as she was talking, I was like identifying with the dude somehow. I've never met the guy. I don't even know what he looks like. But I was identifying with this guy by just certain things that she was saying about his mannerisms or about how he's conducting himself in life. And I started thinking, fuck, and the down road that he was going, and I'm like, I could be that person. Like when I was young, I remember seeing a homeless person, and it affected me because I felt bad for him, but I was like, shit, it scared me more than anything. I was like, man, I don't want to be homeless and without, and you know what I mean? And then I ended up, I'm going to say I was homeless because I was living out of my truck for about 2.5 months. And I was sneaking into where my dad was living. He would say, hey, I'll leave the door unlocked and you can come up, take a shower upstairs or whatever, and don't let the owner know. And I did that for a couple of weeks. That was scary. Because I felt ashamed. I didn't want to be, even though my dad was letting me in, I felt ashamed that I was sneaking in.
But that's what the government wants to do.
Do you think it's the government or do you think it's just?
No, it's people. But a lot of people say it's the government, which I just did. But
you're kind of right, though. You're kind of right.
It's about the people, though.
There's a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of bullshit, especially nowadays. In the olden days, it was probably a little easier. It was fill out the paperwork, blah, 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 blah. Now, it's jump through hoops and everything. There's managers. Same friend I was talking to. There's managers to manage managers that are managing managers just to manage paperwork. Has nothing to do with the fucking job or the task at hand for people to handle. And sorry, I want to make sure that you're in the shot. And so it becomes a never-ending loop. So if you're talking about government like that, yeah, I agree. California taxes the shit out of our business.
Yes.
Personally taxes the hell out of us, and then federally taxes, and then how do you stay afloat? How do you pay all the bills? Once you get behind, and once it starts falling down, it's a motherfucker to try to pick back up.
Yeah, very much so. There's one person that said that he needed to find $5,000 or he's losing all his tools that he has stored up. I went, thank you, government. But it's a lot of people I hear saying it's government, but it's the individual in government. It's not just government because it's a catch-all phrase that people just kind of get away with.
No, yeah,
there's an individual that's doing this.
There's motherfuckers in government, especially because once they get a taste of it, it's I can get away with a lot of shit, and it's within the boundaries of real. I'm not going to get busted for doing the thing because it's built into the structure of the shit. That's why so many politicians run to be politicians. The job doesn't pay shit for cash. It's not about the money. It's about the power.
Well, there's also the guy that was given gold bars to do something. No, okay.
But that's power.
That is power.
It's power because you can't chew on the gold. Like, it's not like, you know what would be power is if everyone's stranded on a fucking desert island with no water and you have a gallon of fresh water, you are now fucking going to be the hunted over a commodity.
Yes.
That means you're the wealthiest person. The guy with all the gold and all the money sitting in the corner, just fuck him. Who gives a shit about him? He can offer you all of it and you're like, what am I going to do with all that stuff?
Man, basically the Lord of the Flies.
Exactly. So like when you break it down to simplicity like that and start to look at real, like that's why I look at everybody's story who's out there like, what the fuck? When I drive by and I see like a woman and a guy and they're young and they got all this shit and they just look distraught like, fuck, dude. They just lost everything and they're lost here and they're lost here.
Well, there's one person, but there are some very intelligent people. As I claim.
No, I'm not saying they're not intelligent. I'm saying they're lost.
The street. Yeah. But there's one person that was by Edison High School.
So you're all talking about local. It's like there's like a local tribe.
It's locals, and he was down there, and I gave him a bicycle, and he lost the bicycle because he got stabbed. He goes to the hospital, and then the police impounded it, and. He didn't bother. I couldn't get it back out of the place because it was in his name, but he wouldn't go down and go get it. So I basically lost a bicycle that I gave to him to use, and
because he was lazy or what, not driven, or.
But he also said he told me that somebody came up to him and said, like similar phrase that you used. He said, "You chose to be this way." And he goes, "No, I did not choose to be this way. However, the choices that I've made have put me in this position."
Yes. No one, like, I look at, again, this is what Joe Rogan says, is like, if you look at an old person, because you can look at a lot of old people, they were a baby one time. They were a baby who needed to be loved and touched and cared for, and some kids, some babies didn't get what, like, my mom gave me a ton of that. My sister's kids, some of them, maybe they didn't get so much of that. And my sister's kids ended up going through foster care and then getting adopted out. We don't have any contact with two of them. They're two boys, two brothers. So if they do see this out there, it's Franklin and Alexander, you know, it tore our family apart. And I took it upon me not to take them, even though I'm single and I could have done it. Man, I just felt like, fuck, if they're just still close to my family, it's just gonna bring me into the middle of this shit, and it's just gonna be fuck. And then I'm marked.
Very much so. Yes.
So I was like, well, I could either give these boys a chance to start a new life, because my family, I love my family, but we're kind of fucked up.
Very much so. I have to agree with you what you're saying, because I was retroactively thrown out with the bathwater. When I was pushed out and slapped, I didn't realize that I was actually dropped my head as an infant.
Were you?
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And I overheard my parents talking one time and said, "Well, you dropped him on his head." I went, "Thank you." And he didn't think I was his kid for the longest time.
Your dad?
Mm-hmm. Because when he would shave 3 to 4 times a day because he had black hair with a red beard. And he didn't like the contrast, so he always was shaving and insisted that the kids all around him would shave. And when my beard finally grew out because I hated shaving as a kid and got in trouble for it, thank you. And there were red fibers in it. And he saw that and says, "I guess you are my child." Or my kid, whatever you want to call it. I think he said child. And then he started taking interest in trying to help me out. But by that time, I was already too old. I was in junior high.
So you'd already gotten past that. There's a vital age when children, like I think, it's like from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 or something like that.
And plus, he didn't marry well. She's pretty. She was. She reminds me of the.
You're talking about your dad's second.
His first wife. Oh, the one that was putting out his children.
Oh, so that's not the one that raised you, or?
Well, yeah, no. She was his first wife, and she put out. She's from a 2-child family, and he's from a 2-child family, and he figured that that tradition would keep on going.
Okay.
So he only wanted to have 2 children. I'm number 3, the black sheep of the family.
Okay.
And he did not want 3. But she realized that if she had children, she didn't have to go to work. So she started having children.
So you don't necessarily, well, for the conversation purpose, this is your biological mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You just don't call her mom.
I don't call her anything. She's dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not just physically, but in your heart too? Or?
Yeah. No, she did not treat my father very well. And with that, she belittled him.
You cared for your dad at all?
He really wasn't a father to me because she wouldn't let him be.
So do you blame him or her for that, or both?
Both.
Him for being having tacit approval for her.
She made it difficult on him.
Yeah, for her action towards him.
Yes. And she kept on saying, well, he'd go, I wonder what the poor people are doing, saying that because he was financially successful, being an attorney. And she would say, oh, they're right here, the poor people. She would consider whatever he's doing, kind of belittling them. And it just made it more difficult. His secretary said that she drove him to drink.
So he liked alcohol?
The alcohol liked him more than he liked it.
Oh, okay.
But he died of esophageal cancer.
From smoking?
Smoking and liquor at the same time.
Oh. Yeah, I guess if you're a very big drinker, it can fuck up your...
alcohol straight with a cigarette, it destroys the throat. He tried to quit smoking and he just couldn't do it. He'd get the old attitude of getting nasty attitude. Yeah, he did that. It's too bad. The firstborn of the family, the father was close to him, and he insisted on being close to his kids. And he went through a divorce as well.
Do you think children that push to be close to the kids...
Wait, try that again?
Do you think, children that are born, like any of the children that are born from a parent that wants to be close to their kids, do you think it can be detrimental to them when they want to be too close to their children?
You mean
like almost
the
suffocating?
Helicopter kids?
Maybe not helicopter parent, just someone who's just like this. They carry the same attitude from when they were just a baby, like, this is my everything, this is my soul, and they just don't want anything to happen to that. Not a helicopter, not like a Karen, but somebody who's like will let stuff happen, but is just really afraid and kind of always swarming over them, like, oh my God, are you okay? And everything's gonna be fine. Just call me when you're getting there. Some people would call that helicopter. I'm talking more of like from a heart, like they just don't want to lose their baby. In their head, that's always going to be their baby.
We have a problem because the children nowadays, even back when, you used to have three generations in a house: parents, grandparents, and the children. And the grandparents would be the babysitters, basically.
Yeah, the village, so to speak.
And now it's separation. Put the grandparents in a home somewhere, and the kids barely get to see them. Send the grandparents, if they have money, send them to Seizure World.
Yeah, and I think the youth nowadays has a little bit more, they don't have as much understanding or respect for their elders, or, older people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people have that are old, got old for a reason. They stuck around because they dodged the bullets. They dodged the meteorites. They stayed alive as long as they've been alive right now. And when youth can't appreciate that, it just shows how ignorant and, may I say, a little stupid that they can be that way. It's like, no, you need to reevaluate yourself. You're 19 years old. You've not even been on this earth for 2 decades. So calm down. And again, some people, it's not always about age, but you would have to gone through a lot of life in that short amount of time to be able to represent that. And not many people on this earth have. It's very few. By 19 have gone through that many things. Been married, seen death, seen birth, traveled the world, seen and done things, and played music and danced and freaking learned math. Like all that, like doing just a fucking pack like 50 or 60 years into something and try to put that into a 19-year-old. That's not a common thing. That's 1 out of a billion or 1 out of 500 million. I'm just throwing numbers, but it's not a rare. It's not a thing that you see. It takes life. You got to live 30, 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years.
They used to have wood shop and home ec and such in school.
Did you take those?
Oh yeah.
Which ones did you take?
I took wood shop.
What year? Like 5th grade, 7th grade?
Oh, geez, that was back in the 60s.
Okay, so I took wood shop.
Yeah.
I took metal shop. Mm-hmm. I took auto shop. Mm-hmm. I took electronics.
Whoa.
I nerded out on electronics. Yeah, we used to do LED boards and stuff. This is before fucking LED TVs and all this LED stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like, don't Google it, but what is LED? What is LED? It's light emitting diode. It's just a little diode that you solder onto a circuit board. You etch the circuit board with chemical. You plat out the rod. It's like it's super cool. Like we made circuit boards and flashing lights, and you could program to do certain things with capacitors that hold electricity and energy and turn on switches. And there's all kinds of really cool things you could do. I learned all that stuff from school. Mm-hmm. I didn't go to special class. I didn't go to college for any of that. And you're about to say that they don't offer it anymore.
They don't. And that's basically what's the problem. We have people not being trained how to be people.
Efficient.
Well, you dabble in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know how to change their oil in their car.
Or weld up a rig on a bicycle that needs not just a fix, but a modification.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like-minded people who get together and go, hey, look, we may not be pros at this shit, but we're going to get something done right now. We're going to get this thing fixed.
I've never seen it happen, but I was told a story about some lady that decided to put water in her car. And she put the water in where the oil goes. I'm going, okay. But they say it's common sense, but no, there's...
No, because it could be confusing, like, oh, it has a little drop thing on it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it comes down to learning process, not common sense, like you said.
Well, common sense is not so common.
Well, and yeah, what is that even that? What is common? What's that? I think that term is so outdated because there's so many... The amount of people now is more vast, especially culturally in the United States. You're getting people from all around the world who are having babies and raising those children under some of those older premises. So they're not going to know shit. They're not going to know any of this stuff.
There's a lot of questionable parents.
I know some of them. I'm not a parent, so I'm not talking shit, but I'm a dog parent. Mm-hmm. And I took care of my baby brother and sister when I was young because I'm so much older than them. So by the time I'm like 6, 7, I'm changing diapers. Like grab the 2 legs, clean. Don't wipe on the girl especially, don't wipe from the down up. You wipe from the up down for my little sister. Make sure that you don't put poo-poo in their VJ. Like I learned all that stuff at like 5 years old. Because my sister's 4.5 years younger than I am, and I'm 6 years older than my brother. So I had to change both of their diapers growing up. That was a thing I had to learn and take care of them and babysit them and cook for them and stuff. It's like I learned all those skills as a young person. So when I hear that from people, I wince a little bit because I would curious on how they parent their children.
They don't know how to. They've never been trained how to parent because we don't have grandparents anymore. The grandparents would tell...
Now, you're not talking about everyone. You're talking about the thick, not the fringe, the thick of the media, like the thick of the people, the thick of the common, right? Like they said, the common sense, the thick of the common.
If there's no grandparent in the family involved with the children are not going to be trained because the grandparents are the ones that trained them.
You think that's universal?
Pretty much, yes. If the grandparents are not there, yes, because there's not. And there's a lot of people that I'm assuming, that no longer have two parents in the family.
Do you think because of that we're going to see a rise in homelessness?
We're seeing it right now.
Even more, though.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Like destitute?
We're going into Great Depression. This Great Depression that's going to happen now is going to be greater. A greater depression because of the way that people are being treated by the government. I mean, here you have somebody out on the street that I wouldn't even hire me because I know I got dyslexia. I mean, it's a challenge. go left, right is left, left is right. I don't sing along. I long as singing. It's just a little bit of a challenge. Well, a lot of a challenge. But then you have these people that are on drugs, and the government hands them drugs. They say that there's a opium crisis. Well, I didn't think so until they said, no, you can't have the opium drug that we prescribed to you because. Well, now I see there's a crisis. I need the drugs to try to at least move around, be less pain.
Fucking A. But I get it.
They don't, but I'm blamed for everybody out on the street that seems to be on drugs. Just because I'm looped into that thing. You must be on drugs because you were this way or that way.
Because you have the hat and the beard and all the stuff and the...
Yeah, well, because of taking the flu shot back in 2000, my hands swelled, my whole body swelled up. Now I can't even hold a hammer. I haven't been able to hold a hammer in years.
So what's wrong with your hand?
Right now it's cupping.
Yeah.
And that's because of the flu shot.
Fuck, dude. Hey.
And I don't, there's a lot of people that say I have arthritis and such. But if you take a look at what they've done in the past and what type of shots they've taken, I'd blame it on the flu shot.
Directly hitting the nervous system is what you're saying.
Well, there's a German back in 2021 that did research on the virus shot. Democrat China virus shot. Did research on it, and by November the 24th, he was dead. He was a German. He was doing research. He put it on YouTube about the research. And he said, well, it's 0.5 nanometers wide and 20 to 200 nanometers long, basically like a ribbon in going through the bloodstream. And people are now having the blockages in their veins. And I believe it is because of the ribbon, the shot there, because of the what do you want to call the darn thing? I guess it's a carbon ring.
So within the structure, you're saying, like, again,
in the blood.
Okay, so for real, like not even conspiracy stuff. If you look at some of the common flu shots that they give, you can go down to your Ralph. This is all
you can
knowledge.
Do that, but I'm not going to.
Well, okay, so my point is, if you go and you want the flu shot, you can go down to Ralph's and you can get the flu shot. And in that flu shot, there's like 2 different variants that they sell. In that flu shot, in both of those flu shots, there's a product called Triton X100. Okay, swear to God. In my
sounds like a Star Wars.
In my degreaser. And both 4 of my degreasers, I use that exact product. I use the Triton. I use the Triton X100. That exact product. I just gave some trade secrets away in my degreasers. Not all of them, but like I said, like it's a really high-end grade. It's from Union Carbide originally. I don't know if they sold it to Dow, but those big chemical companies, they produce this surfactant, and basically it's a soap base, right? It's carbon chain, and it's a linear alcohol ethoxylate, roughly. So it does have some like downline marine pollutant effects. So it's classified as a marine pollutant. It used to be, at least. Maybe they reclassified it because it got shown up in the. They used to come with a marine pollutant sticker. Now I haven't seen that on any of the drums lately, but it's in that flu shot. It's guaranteed. You could see it. You could look it up. Google it. Why? I mean, why would I want that? Even if it's at parts per million or whatever, why would I want that in my bloodstream? To be honest, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get you're trying to kill a virus that's pretty bad, so you're going to throw a bunch of different chemicals in there to maybe offset that. It just, if I look at it wholeheartedly from a situation of like, okay, we're trying to be healthy, and if you're mandating that onto people, that's where it starts to get really fuzzy, because like, besides that marine pollutant that we're putting in there, look at the laundry list of other things that are in there that are very questionable at the same time, at the same questioning. Then it starts to all make sense, and then you're like, I'm opting out. I don't need this in my body.
They had all the people, a lot of people that during World War I that died because of the flu, because the government did not know what to do about the flu. to put them all in a boxcar and travel them around the place, and they don't understand what's going on when they have to have ventilation such. They did the same darn thing with the...
And washing your hands. The file after...
So many minutes?
Yeah, it's like a 24-minute file. It should have like a timer clock on it. And
I don't know how to reset what we were just talking about.
Well, we were talking about who the prettiest person in the room is. And
excuse me, you're just not my type.
Yeah, no, you were saying about the flu shot. You went to high school.
Yes.
The counselor at UC Davis? Or
No. He's actually, back when I was going to, trying to figure out what to do after taking the flu shot, there was...
what year are we talking about here, dude?
This is back in the 90s.
Okay.
And they had a advertisement on the television that said that colored lenses were the cure-all. So I went to Cal State Fullerton and had my eyes examined, head examined.
Colored lens, okay, like darker, like blue blocker.
Well, yeah, they had different colored lenses for the person to be...
Hold on for a second.
I'm male, I'm old. I suffer from OPD, old, poor, disabled.
Old, poor, disabled? Is that what that is?
OPD. So like a sit-down restaurant meal.
OPP?
No.
Property?
No. Old, poor, disabled, and a little ugly on the side.
A little ugly on the side. If you guys can't hear us over there in live YouTube land, I apologize. This is being recorded, so we will post this. But I wanted to go live to show you that I could go live with my phone. All right, back to our conversation,
We're
man.
having a live conversation that's some old man that's close to death.
Yeah, we're doing a live conversation with a living ghost.
Hey, we're not talking presidential here.
No, so, again, so your education, you did go to grade school. You got to.
I actually graduated from high school. This is very true. And most amazing. Hey,
Andy, this is Sam.
Hello, Andy.
So you got to graduate high school?
I went to high school, and that was... I was not a very good student. I was given the complimentary C so that they didn't want to see me again. There's what they're having in schools now is what I went through. Where the person doesn't even have to do well in school. This DIE, I mean, come on, you guys.
DIE, diversity, inclusive, and
equity.
Equity.
Dyslexia, change the letters around.
Or DEI, yeah. DIE, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
DIE.
DEI, DIE, EIEIO.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to add that. You're trying to get me to curse, and I'm not going to curse. Sorry, I'm not going to. I don't do that.
So let me ask you a question. When you were young, did you see homeless people ever on the road?
I was.
When you were young?
When I was pushed out and slapped, and before I got dropped on my head as an infant, I got out of high school. My parents decided to have a divorce.
But I'm talking grade school. I'm talking like young. Like you went to grade school. Like when you were in. You said your dad was a lawyer, so like there was
no. An attorney. There's a difference.
Is there? What's the difference between an attorney and a lawyer? I apologize if there's a difference.
No, there is a major difference.
Okay.
My father hated to be considered a lawyer. No. Every attorney needs a lawyer because a lawyer basically has to take care of his client, and when he's before the judge, he's allowed to lie. I mean, lawyers will take the truth, the law, and spin it around or twist it around so much it looks like a pretzel. But they're not lying. Well, they can be lying, but an attorney can't lie. So that's the reason you have to have an attorney or a lawyer represent an attorney. There's that movie, Liar, Liar. It's great example of where the lawyer is actually telling lies. Basically, I'm a lawyer, I lie, that's what I do. And at the end of it, with the piece of paper on his forehead, finally becomes an attorney. Because I know this one.
So there's a difference, you're saying.
There is a difference.
Okay. In the comments, I'd love to hear if there's anybody who refutes this. I mean, obviously, Google can...
An attorney is college taught, and can actually, with that degree, can actually teach law himself.
Okay.
But a lawyer cannot.
So an attorney can become a judge?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawyer cannot come.
But, well, I'm not sure about if there's that much of a difference between being a judge. Take a look at some of the judges nowadays.
Okay. Well, again,
take a look what
this
they're
could be
doing
a tomato thing where you're
take a look at
calling
what
one thing.
judges doing to yellow hair. I mean, come on.
What's yellow hair?
That's the guy that's being picked on. He has a T and a P in his name.
Oh, former President Trump.
And I call him yellow hair because of
yeah, they say orange hair, but a lot of it's really yellow.
General Armstrong Custer. They called him yellow hair. He actually put cinnamon in his hair. No, serious.
Yeah.
And now they're showing that cinnamon actually is beneficial for hair and keep you from going bald and such. I'd rather have it gray than go away. But the I call him yellow hair because General Armstrong Custer was the last one standing at Little Bighorn. It was a symbolization. And the government hired Armstrong Custer to take care of the natives. We, the general public, have hired yellow hair, because I don't want to get in trouble, ban you from being seen on,
call them whatever you want,
or heard.
Orange man bad.
We hired, yeah, right. And I agree that they think that he's bad because he never filled his complete cabinet when he was first in there. He did it with less people. And it's showing that the government can do a lot of stuff with less people.
Oh, it's way over. Like I said, like earlier, people tend to, the bigger the organization, the more places people want to put, because there's more job duty, okay? It's like as soon as you put a process down, then there's a piece of paper with it, or I say a piece of paper, that could be online screen that you have to fill out and submit, and then it's another protocol, another screen. You need another manager to manage that stuff that's managing. It's like there's tiers of managers just to, again, like I said, push paperwork or fill in the blank, so to speak, and it makes government too big. It makes organizations too big. And what I mean by that is it becomes so clustered with people, it's really slow to react. And the people who need the help or need the service, they don't get it because there's just too much red tape, so to speak.
Well, the public works, I've always wanted to put a question mark.
But hold on, real quick. Back to my question to you is, like, was there ever a time you were in your mom and dad's car? You had mom and dad, right? Like, technically, like, there was a place where you were like a baby and then they take you from one place to the other and you're with them ever, or with family?
Oh, yeah, no. There
was times with that
group. Yeah.
Okay, so was there ever a time you were like driving by and see a homeless person and like wonder, like, what's going on there? Ever? Because that used to happen to me.
No, I was that way. I was actually, after graduating high school.
But I'm talking about when I
was that way.
I get that, but at the time when you're...
Oh, did I see anybody?
Like, yeah, when you were like I said, 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 and notice that and wonder...
We didn't call them homeless. We called them the...
vagrants?
No.
Bums?
No. It was...
The children of the lost boys?
We had the...
I used to call them bums when I was young.
Yes. And that's a terminology that was.
It was.
But we actually had, come on, what are the people that...
like, you would hear from the compassionate people, oh, that's a man down on his luck. Mm-hmm.
But there,
that's...
a lot of times they were called hippies. And they were the people that just didn't really have to work and such. So, yeah, they were called hippies.
Gypsies. Hippie. There's hippies, but there's also gypsies, too, who kind of wander from place to place. They do a job, and then they move to the next spot to find out what they can do.
Yes. And that's basically, those were the people that nowadays we classify as homeless. Mm-hmm. But they're just hippies, gypsies.
Well, I think there's a difference, too. There's people who are homeless, who are drug out on fucking substance, who, like you said, will rob and steal and get robbed and stolen from. My sister was homeless for, I'll never forget. She was at my brother's house. And she's like, fuck it. I'm going to just be on the streets and live free. And I was like, me and my brother were like, all right. So we got her like a tent and we got her all this shit prepared, man. And she stayed the first couple nights in my brother's backyard to kind of get used to being in the street. And then the street fucking got her good. She must have got arrested, I swear, Sam, over 20 times. Easy. well over 20 times. And then she got caught up with drugs and alcohol and bad people. And she started losing her teeth and just getting all...
That's mainly meth.
Yeah. 100.
I had one female that took an interest in me, which I thought was rather amazing. And then I found out her interest was meth-induced.
Meth-induced, yep. Euphoria, dopamine release, all the weird shit.
And I tried to keep her away from these people that were feeding her the meth, and I couldn't do it. In fact, she reimbursed me for the medical marijuana, and I had to give it back because the person that she got it from was addicted to meth, and they put meth in it.
So you're not a dude who sits in the corner with a fucking
Wait,
sign.
I'm a dude.
Okay, you're not a human being that sits in the corner with a fucking sign.
No, I can't.
I've never seen you do that.
I can't. I physically can't do it.
Okay.
I'm on crutches. I can't.
You don't have a sign sitting next to you when you're on your crutches.
Can't do it.
Okay. My point is that a lot of people think that if you're homeless, I'm using that like the bum terminology or fucked up. You're just out there and you look like you're fucking, the weather is hitting you hard and you just drive by. I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
The connotation is that guy has no, like nothing.
He's a worthless piece of...
Well, whatever it is. But you have a way to, and whatever the way it is, whether it's your Social Security or whatever you have to you, you're able to buy some coffee for me and give it to me as a gift.
Yes.
And so you have resources, and it's just the resources that you have there. Because of California, United States, government, blah, 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 everything is so fucking overtaxed, so hyperinflated that whatever you do have isn't enough to sustain you at that.
Well, poverty level in the country of California, communist country California, excuse me.
Yeah, tell me.
Is $80,000 to $60,000. That's poverty level.
Fuck, dude.
And they expect me to exist on the amount of finances that I have. I'm under the federal poverty level.
You're under the federal, and what's that, like 12 grand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm under that.
Okay.
That's the federal poverty level. Orange County is 80,000.
Yeah, I was going to say Orange County is just...
And people want to say, well, we have to have the government there to keep the prices down. No, these greedy people that come from other parts of the country that are really not from California. I was pushed out and slapped in California.
So you're born here.
I was pushed out and slapped.
This is what he said every day. All right.
And I started
crying. You know what? You know why the word birth comes from, right?
Well, you're going to educate me, please. I need it.
Okay, so the birthing of a ship. It all comes from maritime law. This all the terminology you guys hear is from maritime law.
Yeah, we used to, when the phone came out, they said ahoy instead of hello. Ahoy.
Ahoy. Exactly. Everything's maritime law. Because that's where trade and everything originate. Travel and trade from the ocean.
And I tell you about a rough gig. I mean, I spent some time on a ship. That is rough.
That's a whole nother thing.
I take a look at the Pirates of the Caribbean, the series. I went, hey, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, look at the Pirates of Realness right now, like Somali, anything out there in treacherous waters. I mean, you could even be in very sovereign land, and you can have just local ruffians, people, just outlaw thugs could be on a boat, come up and rob you out in the middle of the ocean. This isn't, like you could be, I'm not talking pirates with a patch. I'm talking pirates with a polo shirt on that are white.
Yes.
That live in Southern California. Like this can happen. Like if they can rob you in the street, they can rob you in the ocean.
That's
why you're
highway robbery.
Yeah, and the seaway robbery as well. Like if you go out in a boat, most captains are going to be smart and keep a gun on the boat because you're a sitting duck otherwise.
Then you have a rough time on that one because you go into port, you're not supposed to have that.
Well, you just have to have it carried the correct way. That's all.
Hidden away.
Yeah, as soon as you're 3 miles, I think it's 3 miles out. 3 miles, then you can have your gun. Now, if you get boarded by the Coast Guard and or any of the naval vessels, you have to identify. First of all, they're going to have ARs on it. We got boarded one time, and they were like, hands up, and we were like, oh, shit, there's a BB gun underneath there, and that was it. But we had a BB gun aboard.
Back in the 70s, this guy was doing work in L.A.
So you're like a coastal kind of guy.
Yes.
Your whole life.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, pretty much.
I enjoyed the mountains more than the
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I was almost drowned by a lifeguard.
Okay.
Yes.
He didn't like you.
Apparently, I was just too big for him, and he needed to pick on me.
Okay. Was that your phone?
That wasn't mine. I got mine off.
Oh, my phone's back up. I forgot I turned it off, and then back we're live. So okay.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I don't handle water very well.
Okay.
And because I was tortured as a child, I don't. That's the reason why also the claustrophobia came from.
Okay.
So yeah, I was not treated very well. Mm-hmm. And the puppies, mm-hmm. you have the runt of the litter, mm-hmm. and it gets picked on by everybody.
Okay. But everybody likes the runt.
Not in the puppy realm.
Well, in dog realm, I get it, or even animal realm, I get it. The runt of the litter usually gets the last to be fed.
I wasn't smart, therefore they picked on me.
Okay.
And one of those survival of the fittest.
Okay.
And I did not handle it very well. That's the reason why I went. My upbringing, talking about children and such. Mm-hmm. I taught about my upbringing and said, no, I don't want to put a child in this universe mm-hmm. Because I wasn't trained. And to have somebody that never was taught how to be a parent, to become a parent. There's some people out there that have children that really should not have children.
Do you think they're going to those children will end up lost in the system, homeless?
Very much so. I had one female that was interested in me, and she ran away from home. My father got wind of it and put her in a foster home, and she told me that she was raped within a week.
Your father? So you were young when this happened? A lot younger. Well, you're saying your father put her in a home?
I was in high school.
Okay,
junior high school.
Okay,
junior high school.
Yeah, okay.
And she decided to run away and came to visit me.
Oh.
She had a liking to me.
I got you.
And she ended up going to a foster home because of that, and lost track of her. But she did not happen very well to her.
What do you think about nowadays? Let's just say relationships, because it's so easy to become in a relationship because of online, and then more younger.
No, not for me. I can't do lines.
I'm talking about. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of young men and women who are meeting people online, and they're getting together with them, and then they're young and they're moving in with each other. How do you think that affects young men? Like, how do you think a young man living with his girlfriend, let's just say 19 years old, living with his girlfriend, sharing space, sharing bills, sharing responsibility. Do you think it's good for a young man to be living with a woman that young? Or do you think a young man needs to be out on his own, looking at the world, finding the world?
If they're close to the same age, you have to know the person that you're going to marry.
Okay.
I mean, some people get married within, 3 weeks?
Well, I'm just saying, do you think it's wise for a man to get married before he's 25?
Depends on his upbringing. If he has a good, strong family background with him, and the two family get along, that could be done.
Okay, even though men change, men's brains change all the way past.
So do women.
Okay, I know, but men's brains, they've just showed in the study, particularly men, 25 is like 25, 26, 27, right in that range is where men's brains stop developing as far as learning and going forward and maturing.
My grandparents met in a schoolhouse, one-room schoolhouse.
Okay.
And they stayed married for 27, 28 years. No, 78, whatever.
Okay.
And
my grandparents were together for over 60, you know, and they met when they were young, but that was such a different age and time.
It's a different time because the family back then during the Great Depression was actually really close.
Well, people didn't live as long either. Now, now people are living 80, 90, 100 years. You have centennials.
Now we're going the other way around because a lot of people are dying at it.
Okay, but I'm saying overall, the ability to live longer is available.
Yes.
Might cost some money.
If you
geographically, you said, if you're living in California, your poverty line's at 60K, or Orange County.
80,000.
Okay, you said 60 to 80. So
yeah. Well, I remember it was 60 at one time, and now it's up to 80 because of the cost of living.
No, I get it.
I'm sure there's close to more like 100 right now, 100,000. And I think the government needs to have their paycheck cut. This 3% for the government needs to be stopped. In fact, instead of term limits, cut their paycheck and see how well they really. Back when the government was first started, people volunteered to be in the government to help out. George Washington, for example, and then went back to his farm.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't getting paid out of.
Well, now this has not just become a service. This has become a career.
Very much so.
From a service, a public service, to careers.
And
career politician.
Yeah, and they've shown that they're corrupt. So they don't need that much money.
But they're only corrupt because that's the way the game is. It's like the stew, like this giant stew that's swirling around. You get into the game, you become part of the stew.
Yes.
Like it's impossible. It's impossible not to be impermeated by it, right? Like
the example
to be impermeated.
Well, the example is the mascot for the United States. How did he get the stumbler upstairs? I mean, how did he get all these houses and such? Well, it's been shown that he put out behind him. And they're filling it up. Now, how can you tell when a politician's about to lie to you? Lips begin to move. How can you tell when he's lying to you? Lips are moving. How can you keep a politician from lying to you? Trick question, you can't. It's part of the get. And being a comedian, I basically lie because I'm making jokes. And
did you ever do voices?
No.
Okay.
No, I thought about it.
So my stepdad, David Bevins, he opened for Wayne Newton for 3 years and was like really good friends with Bill Hara. You see pictures of them all the time. He was a comic impressionist, did over 100 different voices.
Whoa.
And just really good back in the 70s. He was popular. He was on the Tim Allen show. Mm-hmm. Is that who it was? Tim Allen? Is it Tim Allen? No, there was, what's the guy's? Old
Johnny Carson.
Before that, black and white. Like a late night kind of guy. He had glasses, dark hair. I thought it was something Allen. I thought it was
George Allen.
Tim. No, I thought it was Tim Allen. Was it Tim Allen or is Tim Allen he was like the guy from? I think Tim Allen's the dude from Home Improvement.
I still can't remember names.
Yeah. Well, this guy was like a late night guy. He was on that guy's show. He was on a lot of those. I mean, he was even on after he finishes his career. My mom tried to resurge his career, got him on Oprah. But it was kind of like, it was really, he was stuck in his old voices, all the old characters from like 60s and 70s, and they were no longer. Sorry, guys. They were no longer relevant. A bunch of old characters and voices that people they don't know about these people. They don't know about Red Skelton. Oh my God. Jesus, hold on. Quit calling me. I'm on a conference call. Jesus. Reconnecting. Sorry, guys.
Here we have Hanna-Barbera. Okay, I finally remember the name.
Yeah.
And they basically blacklisted that because they said it was too violent. Roadrunner and such.
Yeah.
And have you seen the cartoons now?
Well, Hanna-Barbera had all kinds of stuff. They had a conglomerate of cartoon shows that were like really epic.
Yes, but they got blackballed because they're classified as being violent. And the cartoons that they have nowadays are really...
Well, the violence is nothing compared to the sexual connotations on all fronts. It's fucking nuts. Like before they would hide it. Now it's like blatant. Yes. It's pretty disgusting.
Well, and what they're teaching the kids in school.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Back when I was...
How to get blowjobs, for real? That's for real.
No, thank you.
It's in the fucking literature in California. It's nuts.
How can you tell when they're full? White stuff comes out.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ.
Come on.
See, he doesn't say bad shit, but he says bad shit.
I don't curse, but I do. As George Carlin says, these are not bad words. They just encourage bad thoughts. Mm-hmm. So I encourage those bad thoughts without ever using those words. Like the F word, the word that starts with an F and ends with a K. Yeah, I go FCK and leave you out of it. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's fine. These are really bad. They're horrible. They're dry.
When does fecal matter really matter? When it's in your bottom of your shoe.
Yeah, I would say, or in your shorts.
Well, talking presidential now here.
Shit in the shorts. Okay, yes. Don't have
that sounds like it depends.
It's kind of like where this podcast has been going. We're shitting our shorts. Well, dude, I'm glad that we got to sit down and at least get this.
But you mentioned about attorneys and lawyers.
Yeah.
An attorney is actually taught in a university, and actually because of that training, can actually get and that degree can actually teach law in a university or a school.
Okay.
Where a lawyer doesn't have that. Lincoln Law. Where Lincoln did not go to school, but it was self-taught lawyer.
Okay.
And that's where that law. Where that's the difference.
So you can defend, but you can't practice? How does that work?
You can't teach.
You can't teach.
Everything's practicing.
Yeah.
I think
practitioner.
I think Obamacare should be called Obama. We really don't care. Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's some of the worst shit ever. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's basically why I ended up the way I am.
I think Andy was talking about that Obamacare was like some of the worst shit ever.
Oh, yeah. I got tucked and taken the cortisone shot, and I had a seizure.
Oh, shit.
Thank you. It hurt so much.
Did it?
And they now found out beginning of last year that they don't recommend, quote unquote, recommend that shot because it actually destroys the joint.
I think we're coming down to the last of the wire on this.
Okay.
Land the plane. Just let's finish up real quick. You're going into the hospital.
Yes.
You gonna be okay?
I hope so. Okay. I got some. They did a process to get rid of veins.
I'm caring about you nowadays, dude.
Well, they said that
you've been in my story a little bit.
My veins needed to be closed down, obliteration, and I didn't think I was that vain, so they decided to remove some vanity from me.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know.
It's getting.
And I had to hurt so much.
Is this why you're not a successful comedian?
Very true. Very true. Well, see, I got talked into taking the flu shot, and then I tried to get retrained. Department of Rehabilitation is a joke, and I went. They wouldn't retrain me.
So now you're going to the hospital.
So I went to the school to get retrained and such, and they wouldn't do it. And they said, "Well, you're computer programming," and I went, "Okay, no. With dyslexia, it doesn't work."
Okay, but we're talking about you going. You're going to the hospital.
The hospital right now, because of the vein issue, they say, "Well, that didn't work. I still have open wounds." So I'm going, "No, it's not from meth."
So they're going to give you care then?
So I have no idea what they're going to do.
They're not going to kick you out on the street, are they?
Well, I said I can't do it as a outpatient because they said, well, you have to have somebody come by and pick you up.
Yeah.
I have nobody to pick me up. I have my homemade wheelchair, electric wheelchair, tricycle with an electric wheel. And so they said, no, we can't do it. I went, okay, great, fine, I won't do it. Now they're insisting that because I keep on having these wounds and they're worried out that the infection and septic. So now they're willing to put me in the hospital for a couple weeks. Okay. And see how well that works.
Good. When do you go? Today? Right now?
I'm going as soon as we're done here.
Yes, I figured. That's why I wanted to get this in because Sam's going in. You never know. It's for posterity. Listen.
I may not be breathing.
The last time I didn't do a podcast with somebody, my friend ended up getting behind a wheel of a car and running his fucking truck into a fucking tree. And gone forever is James. And I pleaded with him, let's just sit. We were in this exact building. I was like, dude, I'll grab my equipment. Let's just sit down and talk for fucking a half an hour or whatever and get this, just talk. And he's, next time. And every time I do that and I don't take the time to do it, it unnerves me. And I've been wanting to do this with you. And I was like, fuck it. What better time to do it than early this morning and get it out of the way?
Well, considering also that it may be the last time. We don't know what
you never know.
You know, it's getting to the point because of this DIE, diversity, inclusion.
You don't know who's going to be in the hospital helping you.
Well, that's true. I could go in there, for example, to have my tonsils taken a look at and have removed.
And get you.
And then find out that my testicles are being removed instead. I mean, you never can tell.
No. There's plenty of times where they amputate the wrong fucking limb.
Yes. There's a story about somebody that was in the hospital, a kid, and the doctor wrote down a prescription, take milligrams, and it was supposed to be 0.5, and the person gave 5.
Like high five?
No, real 5. It was 5 milligrams.
Just in case it does shut off, thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. I'm going to let Sam continue talking.
As you can tell, I can talk for hours.
We're going to let him continue talking right now about whatever, but I do want to sign off because the camera, it's going to shut off any minute. It's 24 minutes.
No, I basically a comedian that's on this takes a not so rapid transit.
Okay.
And I had to take my comment. You've heard
not so
Road Scholars.
Rapid transit. So that's NS.
Not so rapid transit. The buses.
RT. SNRT. Not so rapid transit.
Not so, yeah. Well, SAM is an acronym, Simple Adult Mind.
Okay, that's who you are.
Yeah, that's my father called me that name.
What's the age that you perceive yourself mentally on this earth? Like, I figure I'm
mentally
like,
on this earth? I don't even think I'm mentally on the earth now.
Well, is there an age that you could put to yourself that's not your actual physical age that you would like,
I don't feel a day under 95.
Okay, that's good. I put myself like somewhere in like my 20s. Like how I envision myself, like who I am and my health, and it's like this vibrant 20-year-old mind. That's how I picture myself in my mind's eye. Like, I know I'm not 20 fucking something years old, but that's how I feel. In my mind's eye, like how I feel about life.
Before they changed Golden West College around, there's somebody that was there, and he goes, you know, I'm talking to the kids and such around the coffee cart, and he goes, yeah. I'm going. He goes, you never grew up. You never changed. The way I was a child.
So some people who've known you, like, do you still see people that you've known from childhood at all? Ever?
No.
You don't run across anybody that know you from when you were younger?
Nope. No.
That you could even recognize. That's the thing. You'd have to be able to recognize them.
No, I went to go visit years ago, back in the 90s, hometown. And
this isn't hometown.
No, okay. I was up in L.A. County.
Oh, okay.
I was pushed out and slapped in L.A. County.
Pushed out and slapped in. So you're in L.A. You're an L.A. product.
Yeah, up in the foothills and such.
Okay. I lived there.